In this video, we're going to talk about the mechanics of growth in GDP. Now, production requires what we call factors of production. Now, typically, we talk about factors of production in different categories. We talk about labor, workers, we talk about capital, factories, equipment, we talk about natural resources, and that includes the land that we use in a country. Now, in addition, we can improve the production by improving the quality of these factors of production. So what we have is GDP is a function of the amount of factors of production we have and the quality of those factors of production. Now, we can do that very schematically, thinking about, we ignore land for a moment and we talk about just capital and labor. Now, we add capital and labor to produce GDP. One way to make GDP grow is by adding more factors of production, adding more capital, adding an additional factory, and having more workers filling that factory. But there's another way to think about it as well, which is add a set of tools to the factory and to the worker so that that person is more productive. We can think about equipment, we can think about computers as a way to improve the productivity of both the factory and the worker. Finally, we can think about adding quality to the factors of production we have. We can increase the quality of capital by improving our processes, by innovating, by bringing new technology, by bringing new knowledge. And we can increase the quality of the factor of production that we call labor by improving human capital, skills, training, etc., etc. Now, what is relevant here is beyond the factors of production, growth happens through a set of actions, which I'm going to summarize with one word, which is investment. In fact, if we think about everything which is included in this block, each of these variables included in this block are increased through some form of investment. In the case of factories or in the case of tools, equipment, computers, we're going to talk about investment in physical capital. In the case of processes, innovation, knowledge, we're going to talk about investment in knowledge creation or innovation. And in the case of human skills or human capital, we'll talk about investment as well, investment in human capital. Now, as a summary of what we said, growth in GDP must come from adding either factors of production or quality. If we fix population and we think about growth in GDP per capita, so we're not simply adding population to grow GDP, well, growth must come from the accumulation of some form of capital, either physical, human, or knowledge. Now, accumulation of capital is done through investment. Through our hypothesis is going to be that investment must matter for growth. Now, if we think about investment in one particular category, which is investment in physical capital, in fact, investment is a component of GDP. Remember that GDP is equal to consumption, investment, government consumption, and net exports, which says when we think about growth through investment, if we increase investment to grow GDP, it has to be that something has to come down. In the case of a closed economy where exports are zero or net exports are zero, it has to be that more investment comes from either lower private consumption or lower government consumption. So we see clearly the trade-off between investment and consumption when we think about the drivers of growth.